Well, hey there, everybody. How's it going? Magic here right now, just for the moment, waiting for somebody from our team to come and show up here. But hey, listen, while we wait for them, I'm here to help. And by the way, if you hear a crying child in the background, my son's having a tantrum. He is at that perfect age where he wants to scream about everything. So apologize in advance. As soon as I get other people in here to start talking, I can be able to hit the mute button while that goes on. But how are you guys all doing? How is everything going? Hi to Taylor Swift. Are we streaming the Pacific Classic? No, unfortunately, we cannot stream any races. We can't have the live stream going here. You can watch for free. Del Mar on TVG, Twin Spires, what have you, whatever ADW is. They got a stream in there. We'll have that here. Listen, we're going to do some recapping from Saratoga. Jason says bell curve strikes again. My God, this was a day of days for Mr. Joel Rosario. We're going to talk about his day at Saratoga. So happy to have everybody here. Yeah, Brian, we're going to talk about that Warlike Goddess ride. Pretty damn great. Shoddy, so many surprises today. Yeah, it's been good. Some good surprises, some not so good surprises. But listen, yes, Truth Exposed. It's good to see you here. Hi to you. I've been trolling fans in the threads. Yes, you have. It's been a lot of fun to just sit back and watch the comments going. So, hey, tell me how you're doing in the chat. How is your betting been going? What was your favorite things that you've been able to see here? Yeah, Truth Exposed. They get kind of hot when you tell them he won't win at a mount a quarter. Yeah, you and Jared, the two of you, you should team up sometime to just have like troll-a-thons and just go back and forth with people in the chat one night. By the way, if you are drinking today, partaking, cheers. I am having a Dragon's Milk White Bourbon Barrel Aged Golden Stout. Dragon's Milk, one of my favorite stouts. So happy to have this aboard. Happy to have you aboard. Let's see how has everything been going here. Shoddy, so happy to see you. Yeah, the tournament, Travers kind of screwed us up with that. Travers weekend and then Labor Day weekend. We had a deal in place initially to do a run of 10. We ran through those 10. And so after that, we were like, okay, now we'll retool and see what worked. We'll make some changes, but they are coming back. It'd be good. Good evening, Bree. Good to see you here. Yay, Magic. Listen, Truth Exposed, if I'd had time, I actually did look at this. You brought this up in the chat before. I've been looking for 3 days to try to find a winner of a grade 1 mounted quarter races, lightly races, Flightline. I mean, Justify had the Santa Anita Derby, the Mountain Eighth. Like, there's what you're saying, Truth Exposed, is that there are no horses there, trying to go from one turn into that sort of thing. They're that lightly raced. So I get you there. Hey, I'm finally not alone. Jared, there you are, buddy.
Hey, what's up?
About to send on an SOS to the chat, be like, I'm doing what I can to jump on here, but glad to see everybody's here. I didn't actually catch it. Who won that last race at Del Mar there? Or no, I did catch it. It was the 8 horse, Toto Fino. I don't think the guide had that. I did tell Aaron to put the 5 in the guide. I don't know if he ended up listening to me or not, but I told him to put the 5 in. He just kind of got lost in the turn and came running too late there. But Del Mar's been going good here. And Jared, they're saying hi to you.
Well, hello. Yeah, the 8 was, I'm playing in a tournament right now, and the 8 was a horse I considered using, just, obviously looking for value there, the unknown a little bit with this horse. First time starter, and this is not the greatest of field. That was a tough one because I liked Redline. I know Halterman used Redline.
Okay, he did.
A bummer because he was flying late, but that was a tough one in between. 2 very gettable races.
Well, I would say 3 gettable races because you go back to the maiden special weight before that. Man Among Men was a horse he was favored, so a horse had a piece of that was nice to watch him win. kind of with you and Mike and I got to hang out and watch it together, which was cool. But you had your best bet win race 6 at 3-1. And if you go back and watch National, you know what? For fun, Jared, let's see if I can find National Treasures replay, because that was a fun one to watch in retrospect.
I can report that the Rockets. I forgot that we went 6 deep on the Rockets and we used that horse there, and that was a 6 horse. So we were live in the Rockets. The guy did not have it.
Okay. Well, listen, the Rockets, you can go a lot deeper than what the guy was. I do have the, we're going to do some recapping of stuff because it's, some time in between races. If you didn't watch this earlier, I've got the replay pulled up. That's not how we do it. The replay pulled up of National Treasure winning. While I pull it up, Jared, tell people why this was your best bet, because this was not the favorite on the morning line nor in the actual race.
Yeah, he's 5-1 on the morning line, which I thanked John afterwards. Thanks for making that horse 5-1 because I think we got a better price. It was he said it was a tough race to make a morning line for, because you had some horses that had made starts that were pretty good, and bottom line is for me it was Bob Baffert making a first time starter who's been working out great, and gets Johnny V, tells me this horse is going to try to go gate to wire in this thing, and lo and behold, this is what he did.
Johnny V flying in this today to ride some horses, and this being one of them that always catches the attention. Rode for Medina Spirit. Here's the thing. So you've got the 8 who had some experience, had some experience. A Practical Joke, should love going one turn, comes right up on him after the 3's had some heat. The 5 is another Baffert. There's multiple reasons he could have choked this up here. He gets some pressure from the 8, repels him. But then when the 5 starts coming in on the rail a little bit, I was like, if the 5 is brave, he could make it interesting. But the 3 was just too good.
Yeah, I knew just a little bit before this, about the quarter pole or so, that we had it, because once he held off the 8, I was like, and then right here, you're like, oh no. But Johnny V obviously did a great job of making sure that horse wouldn't get up on him on the rail. And another Baffert. It's like the same song and dance. Another horse that another 2-year-old, I should say, that's looking pretty good. As we get closer into the fall and as they turn 3, and of course towards the Derby and things like that. So we'll see. I did want to, by the way, 3-1 was awesome. Like, to get 3-1 on that horse was a gift. So that was huge. Halterman hit the next one on the Dudes Event Daily. So we hit back-to-back races there on our best bets. And I did want to, by the way, we need this horse to get home. If this horse wins here, I think I'm going to qualify for the NHC qualifier tomorrow, like the big one. So we need this horse to win here. Bree, I wanted to make note. Yeah. So kind of the basics is, if you've ever played the guide on a big day, say last week with the Travers, the bankroll article, that's essentially what the Rockets are every day. It's Halter and I, kind of a combination effort, what you get in that bankroll. Whereas the guide, a normal guide like today, is all Halterman and kind of how he structures a ticket. So that's kind of the difference on the Rockets. The Rockets is kind of a combination effort of him and I, and they've been pretty good lately. We try to go a lot of value, short tickets, heavy, trying to get horses home. So, hey, Taylor Swift is in the chat. Good to see Taylor Swift. I love T Swift. Not gonna lie.
Can we get an advanced copy of Midnight's?
Taylor? I'm not even lying. I really love T Swift.
She's well loved. Mike and I did a special podcast for one of our listeners' daughters who's a Taylor Swift fan, where we ranked our top 8 favorite Taylor Swift songs. No joke, there's a Taylor Swift signed CD vinyl right there on the wall. It's my wife's favorite, one of her favorite possessions. So yeah, big Taylor Swift fans everywhere. We're all in good company here.
I just got done rowing, so I look all sweaty. So,
did you finally get a rower?
I got a hydro, yeah, man.
Nice.
Dude, I basically am ripped right now. Totally.
That's great. No, Jared and I talked about like how we both wanted a rower someday, like, I don't know, 3 years ago. I think it was just right when COVID started or before. So
it was a 3-year decision. Yeah. Finally I pulled the trigger. I was like, you know what? I'm getting fat, so I need to go get a rower. And I did. And I love it, actually. I could not recommend it more. Especially now, like I was downstairs watching the end of the Arkansas. Actually, I had the Del Mar, and then I flip into the Arkansas game back and forth and just rowing, and it's easy, man. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That sounded like something.
That's one of those cries the painful cry. Yeah. Rip, Shoddy, if you could do that, that'd be great. Just so, because I'll never probably get it. So at least I'll know what it looked like if I did. All right, let's look at where I'm at on this tournament. You need to go? Or are you is an ER visit pending, or
what's that?
Is there an ER visit pending? Are you good?
Oh no, it was just one of those ones. Like, you got two boys. I don't know if they do this, but when he like really actually hurts himself, he doesn't make a sound or breathe for several seconds.
Oh yeah,
he just is slowly breathing, and that's why I just did this, because I was like, it's gonna explode.
Yep. You're waiting. You're like, breathe, and then it's like, poof, and then it's
yeah. Listen, fan art of Rip Jared. You can put it right there next to the Magic Mike logo. Just add it to it.
There you go, Shoddy. Woo Pig Suey. That was a good win. Good win. A tough game to start the year off with, especially. So we got a couple easier games. My alma mater, we play in 2 weeks. Missouri State. That's a nice one. Nice little layup. But okay, so I'm in trouble here with this tournament, I'm afraid. Let me share my screen.
Carlos says, feed that baby. Listen, that kid is picky AF when it comes to eating. We've tried feeding them all the time. Hey, look at that. Okay, you're fifth.
But I'm. Oh no! I have the 3 here. Oh no, I could get up there. I could definitely get up there. I don't know if I could win, but top 2 get entries into tomorrow's NHC qualifier. So yeah, if the 3 wins here, I'm in. I think. Because what's the 3 sitting at? Like 6 to 1. 6. Yeah, win and I'm in. There you go.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, another reason to watch War. Hey, listen, War at Sea, if you don't know this horse, it's a really cool story. Ron Ellis, a very legendary trainer, Hall of Fame trainer, has this horse, a $525,000 horse that he gets given. And since he turned on to turf, he's been a monster. He's won 3 straight. He won the Cinema Stakes. He's never raced on Del Mar's turf, and that's the big question mark. But really, there's no reason to not love. I mean, he beat Cabo Spirit, and Cabo Spirit came right back to win the La Jolla over this track. So, that's a great price to get on a horse with a 3-race win streak.
Dude, I was sitting there thinking about Cabo for the tournament, and I'm like, why am I going to play Cabo when War at Sea beat it Cabo? I mean, this is obviously the 9 is the deserving favorite here. But you got to get past Mike Smith riding the 3, but he's won on the horse a few times already, so maybe he can still get it done.
So Dan says the baby was just expressing his displeasure with Rosario's rides today. Bro, if you didn't see it, the reactions are already up. So go watch it after this live stream of Jared and Mike and I reacting to Warlike Goddess losing that race. Good hell.
It's not a pretty, well, it depends on what you think. It's humor. It might be humorous here in a few weeks. Not right now. It was funny because, in the very next race, Mott does win with Olympiad, with Rosario giving another questionable ride on American Revolution to get second. So definitely, Mott was feeling good about himself after that. Shoddy, there's tournaments all the time. This is not a racing dudes tournament. This is just.
She misunderstood. She thought it was a racing dudes tournament.
You can try to qualify all the time, and so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, no, the racing dudes tournament. Just relax. I know you've been nervous, Shoddy. We basically are we've been doing it for a while. We know there's some people like it. You guys like it, but we're trying to come up with an idea here to kind of make this monthly tournaments for all of our subscribers that you can qualify for a mega tournament at the end of the season, whether it be the Breeders' Cup or Derby or whatever, however we decide to do it, where basically you qualify for like a big prize at the end, kind of like similar to what you do for NHC or BCBC, those kind of qualifiers, but a racing dudes version of it. So that's what we're kind of reorganizing. So just stay tuned. We'll definitely be back, Shoddy.
Rodney wants to know, do we think Epicenter beats Olympiad?
I do.
I actually have Epicenter number 2. I have him over Life is Good.
In the classic rankings, I put Epicenter 3rd behind Flightline and Life is Good. He certainly, I mean, obviously what happens here in a little while with Flightline will dictate some things. If Flightline doesn't win, then, Epicenter goes to 2nd, maybe even to 1st as we get closer. This Flightline race is just so pivotal to all these horses moving forward.
So yeah, over Life is Good. The Life is Good setup that he had, if he couldn't get a mile and a quarter in the Dubai World Cup on a track that, if you want to talk a pavement built for speed, it's Bedan's dirt course. If he couldn't get a mile and a quarter there, I don't know how he's getting a mile and a quarter anywhere else. That was my concern with Life is Good. Epicenter, I saw what he did in the Travers, should have won the Kentucky Derby. That being the second fastest Travers in, what did we find out, like 20 years or something like that? Just so impressive. That was, for me, it wasn't just that he won the Travers, is that only Arrogates was better, like in the last 20 years. That's a big deal to me.
And he seems like a horse that took that little bit of a break, very light break, but somewhat of a break, and really rebounded and kind of revamped himself a little bit, so to speak. I mean, he was good all year, but the combination of the Jim Dandy to the Travers, I saw a horse that has finally figured. I mean, he's always been very good, but he figured it out. I mean, the way he won the Jim Dandy off the pace, and we were like, what the hell is Rosario doing? You're like, oh. And then when he goes and does this race, and just talk about this professional ride, professional effort, set behind, kicked out, boom, it was over. He is going to be awfully tough in the Classic, I think, because he'll be ready to fire a big race in the Classic is key too.
You know what? I just thought of it. Who Olympiad reminds me of a lot is Tom's D'Etat from a couple of years ago. You remember him?
Oh yeah, yep.
Like he was, he won the Grade 1, the Clark. He won that. That was his Grade 1 race, but he was a great older horse, winning lots of those Grade 2 races. The Grade 1 always kind of eluded him against the big boys in the Breeders' Cup Classic. By that point, he kind of pooped out. But he had a great campaign. It just, he wasn't that, like, he wasn't in Nick's Go essential quality of that class. So that's, to me, that's kind of what Olympiad reminds me of. A great horse, amazing horse, just not not Flightline, not Life is Good, not Epicenter, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, my concern with Olympiad is, one, I mean, yeah, he definitely proved himself today that he kind of rebounded. I was afraid that after this long season, can Mott get him into the Classic, top notch? But I also we found out when Life is Good just ripped his heart out, really. And I don't think Life is Good is as good as Flightline. We'll find out how accurate that is. And so what is he going to do? Like, I just feel like he's going to have to improve greatly. I think he's a good horse. He just gets kind of taken out of his game a little bit when you've got these unbelievably quick horses early in the races.
Here's a great question for Rodney. If Flightline doesn't get the distance and Country Grammar wins the Pacific Classic today, where do you put Country Grammar?
I would probably put him. He would probably go to 2nd for me. Behind, I'd probably put Life is Good 1, Country Grammar 2, Epicenter 3, somewhere in that order. Because if Country Grammar wins today, that means, I mean, like you said on the morning show, like, we know what he is, And if he goes and wins this race, he loves the Classic distance. It's Bob Baffert. It's not exactly rocket science to think that he could win this thing. And let me also be clear, like, if Flightline goes down today, this opens the door for a lot of horses. You go Taba, my boy Taba. We'll talk a little bit about these future wagers and how these are going to play out as we see Flightline, what he does. But Taba's sitting at 25-1, I think, last I checked. We can pull those up here in a second. As far as the future wagers, that's going to it's going to open the door for everybody to have a shot. Because frankly, even though Life is Good is still very good to me, and I think he would be a deserving horse in the 1 spot. Like you said, there's still questions on that mile and a quarter. Can he hold off Country Grammar, say, at a mile and a quarter in the Classic? I don't know, So Flightline would certainly make my life and everyone's life much easier if Flightline would just cruise here, because I would have my pick. And yes, Taba can win the Classic if Flightline doesn't run well today.
Yeah. There's a video at our YouTube channel that Jared did that actually, he's not trolling. He actually explains all very good reasons why he thinks that's possible.
And the other thing is if let's just say if you can somehow get 20 to 25 to 1 on table on a future wager, he's been working out lights out. He goes and wins the Pennsylvania Derby, which is where he's probably going to run next. You're not getting 20 to 20, and also assuming again Flightline doesn't run well, right? So your Taba's not going to be 20 or 25 to 1 in the Classic. So to me, the value is there with Taba, again, dictating on how we see Flightline run today.
We got 2 minutes to go here. Let's talk about this race. We've got I keep wanting to call it the Del Mar Handicap. The Del Mar Derby, a great race for 9 3-year-olds going a mile and 1/8 on the turf course. Balnikov is now your 7-5 favorite here. A lot of hype on this horse because the last race it was the Oceanside Stakes here on opening day. His final quarter was 23 and change, had a great trip, but a lot of it was very much because of the trip that he got. He did skip the La Jolla, which Cabo Spirit won just to aim for this race. You're going with the 3. If people haven't been paying attention, tell us why the 3 at 6 to 1 is your play.
I mean, obviously, from a tournament perspective, I lean towards that as well for the value. Holding there at 6 to 1 is awesome. Winning 3 races in a row, really since I like the fact that this horse won in a mile and 1/8 last time out, which a lot of these horses either have struggled at mile and 1/8 or haven't quite done that. And just he's been very professional in all 3 of the wins. Just very, very patient rides with Mike Smith, and the pace itself, I think, is going to be steady enough here that it's going to help the 9 as well. But I think there's enough pace in here where that slow down Andy's might be some cheap speed in the race. And I think War at Sea is a horse that deserves a chance to run in a race like this. And I think he'll be right there at the end.
I'm going to go with the other horse that you were about to use in the tournament. Cabo Spirit's my pick here at 6 to 1 for a price. A couple of reasons. This horse has been so great on turf. They tried the Derby Trail multiple times with him, and the horse kept saying, "Stop it! Don't do this to me." They finally put the stop on him in June. Papa Pajama said, "Okay, we're going to aim for the Del Mar Derby." He just happened to win the prep for it. He was 5 to 2 that day. He's now 6 to 1, and he is going to be able to handle Mount Nath. He loves Del Mar's turf. 2 wins and 3 starts here with a third. But also, it's very important to know if you're playing Del Mar right now, there's like 4 or 5 jockeys worth playing in any given race, and the rest of them, you really have to make a stretch for. Joe Bravo is one of the guys you can trust. Flavian Pratt when he shows up. Hector Barrios, your boy. Juan Hernandez, Humberto Rispoli, Ramon Vasquez maybe. Mike Smith is a question mark at certain points. He has ridden this horse perfectly, but for me, I'm going to go with Cabo Spirit because, boy, do I love Joe Bravo on this turf course.
Christopher, that's a comment of the day so far, so just keep those up. That's one of my favorite. If anyone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it. Yep. I agree.
Yep.
Kevin Malone never steers you wrong.
We're big Office fans. You can never, ever get us upset with an Office quote.
You can name any Office quote, and I'll tell you what episode it was. All right, they're in the gate, it looks like.
There you go. Balnikov is a closer. He immediately dropped anchor, and Rispoli said, "Okay, we're coming back over to the right." Smart, because you got this shoot, and you've got like a little quasi turn to have to make onto the stretch here.
Yeah, I like the spot that Mike's got the 3 in, just kind of a little pocket trip there, forwardly placed, but at the end, and no surprise there. The 2, Slow Down Andy goes right to the lead with Spy Catcher kind of stalking him as well, and should be a moderate to fast pace. 24 flat. We'll see if they keep going here.
It's an interesting ride from Diego Herrera to keep the 8-3 wide through that small turn and around both turns. 63 to 1 probably wasn't going to win anyway. I thought it was interesting. Cabo Spirit dropped off a lot farther back. When you draw the rail and come out of that chute, or like at Monmouth Park, you can get cut off a little bit. So I wonder if I didn't notice, but I wonder if that happened to him a little bit.
Now let's see. Mike has been he's got this horse in a good spot. He's just going to have to work out a little bit of a trip to not get this, if this 2 backs up at all. But no real excuses.
What's nice about Del Mar, because of that chute, there's a temporary rail that disappears for a little bit. Horses that are trying to find room on the rail, like the 3, love that, because suddenly it's almost like changing your leads at the 16th pole. You get another little burst.
All right, here we go. Come on.
Get some room here, 3.
Get out. Get out. God, he's stuck behind the 2.
Balnikov's going to take this.
Come on. Damn it.
Oh, Slow Down Andy's going to take them gate to wire. Wow. You've got to be kidding me. 2, 4, 3 is pretty much. The 4 is 68-1. Got second. Wow.
That's just, yeah. I mean, come on.
Any minute now, Dan. That 2 can start slowing down it. Slow down. This horse is ridiculous.
I guess he needed the turf, huh?
Somich had, but he didn't have the winner of the 8th race in his pick 6. But he had Slow Down Andy because of this speed factor. Oh boy. Oh, Somich gonna be really pissed if Flightline wins and he hits this last leg.
Yeah, if you get Slow Down Andy home, that's rough. I did not think, I thought he would be a pace presence, and that's about it. So,
wow, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess definitely wasn't an ideal trip for the 3 at towards the end. He just kind of got squeezed in there, never got a ton of room to run, but still, I just don't think he was quite good enough.
That's this is one of those races where, other than I'll give you 3 horses, scratch off for everybody else. The 9 closed from last to almost hit the board somehow. Look how close he was there. Cabo Spirit was right behind him. Other than that, everybody else kind of ran in place.
Yeah. I mean, the 3 really never, I talked about how good of a pocket trip he had, and he really never ran him in. And same with the 4. I had the 4 as my alternate play. Horse ran huge there at 68-1. Oh, I'm almost glad I didn't use that horse, because I'd have been sick,
man.
And yeah, the 9, no excuse for the 9. I mean, 9 just couldn't get there. Didn't have that. I guess that pace was slower than we maybe expected.
Well, I do remember. I don't know if you remember. I don't think he did anything outside of California, but he's a full younger brother to a horse named Team Merchants. Team Merchants was a turf stakes winner as well. So but here's the thing. If this was a grade 3 restricted stakes, I just expected this horse to quit at some point. He just never did.
I know. We cannot show the race, guys.
No.
So we will show replays, and Magic will have the replays up and our reactions pretty much ASAP after these. But yeah, we don't legally have the ability to. I mean, we could, and this would be the last feed you guys see of us, because lawsuits and stuff. So
yeah, this will be my last days this job, because it's the YouTube manager is the one that put it up there.
Hey, Chris, that's what we have you. You're a scapegoat.
Great point. Chris had him. I saw Chris celebrating as well, along with Charles B. Congrats, Charles. Chris says I got to him based on his good low sell form, which translates sometimes to turf, and that's a big thing from Mike Somich. So maybe Chris got there on his own, but I know that's also something that the Mike loves to speak about.
I've never been a big Slow Down Andy fan, so
no.
For him to.
Wasn't he a Dan draft pick? Didn't Dan draft him this year for the fantasy team?
Yeah.
Dan always finds every year there's one horse that he drafts that ends up being a turf winner. We all thought it was going to be the 5th round pick that he had, because it was a turf horse, but no, it ends up being Slow Down Andy this year. He had Catholic Boy one year. Crazy. Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. His teams, his horses are awful every year, but yeah, they do come back and actually end up being decent horses overall. So
And there you go, Charles.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I'm putting this up here because Charles hit, and then just like Chris hit, well, he explains why he got there. Charles, there you go. Charles proving that, not that I thought it, but Charles proving to everybody it wasn't just a fluke. He really knew what he was doing. So, love Catholic boy. I love that he's retired. Don't have to ever watch to handicap him in a race again.
Yeah. Speaking of Catholic boy, Analyze It's still running. Can't win, but he's running.
Oh, domestic spending's coming back. That's an exciting thing for us.
I know. It did not, because like you said, I guess that's the perk of being a gelding early in your career. You just keep running them. So let's see. We are 1-9. So how about that 1-5 more, 1-5 on John White morning line and opens up at 1-9. So
hey, by the way, the Stanley Cup trophy is in the winner's circle right now.
I saw that.
Eric Johnson for the Colorado Avalanche. There it is. Oh, and the NBA trophy. Who else is there?
Who is? I see Eric.
Oh, Caesars Sportsbook has it. Has the NBA. It's like a copy of the Larry O'Brien. That can't be the real Larry O'Brien. But yeah, anyways, Eric Johnson loves horse racing. Has a bunch of horses in training with Doug O'Neill. So he was presenting the Stanley Cup today in the winner's circle for this race. How fitting that Doug O'Neill wins it and gets to be. That's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool. All right, now I'm jealous I wasn't at Del Mar. I was fine until now, but you tell me the Stanley Cup's there. Now I'm jealous. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. Hey, Robert Healy says he's still alive in the pick six. Mike Somich is jealous of you. You had that 8 before, so congrats. Yeah, Chris says keep it cooking. Hey, Robert, by the way, tell us in the chat. Let us know. What do you have for these last 2 legs? We'll try and call it home for you. Did you single Flightline? Did you go? Because if you like single Country Grammar here or something, and you hit this, you, my friend, are gonna. Would you like to buy the racing dudes? Is what we want to know. You'll be able to buy them with that money.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be open to selling it for sure. You have deep pocketbooks, and think to all the help we gave you for all the over the years. So we'll demand a high price. Yeah. I'm sitting here just dying laughing inside thinking of this 1-9 shot and everyone giving John White shit about why you would make a horse 1-5 on the morning line. The horse first click goes 1-9. It's like, because that's why. That's literally why.
I understand if someone was like, well, why is the horse 1-5? If you didn't understand the point of a morning line, it's when you dig in the heels and prove that you don't understand and keep proving it over and over, that's when it becomes an issue.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, and I know we say this a lot, I feel like, but I'll keep saying it until people get it. The job of a morning line maker, a good morning line maker at least, is to try to accurately predict what the horse's final odds will be when they leave the gate. That's the job. It's not to pick the horse that's got the most talent or the horse that's likely winner or whatever. It's how you perceive the bettors are going to bet this horse. And you're trying, John tries to line up every single race matters to him on his morning line. I've seen him do it in person where he goes through and he can't believe this horse was I can't believe this horse was bet down this much. I got that one wrong, or I was right on this one. Like, he looks at every single piece of that. So when he looked at Flightline, sure, Flightline has plenty of question marks, but look at all the steam on this horse going into this race. That's why he put the horse at 1-5, because he knew 1-9 was probably coming, and look what it is. So people they get all pissed that, you're making that horse too low odds or can't, but it's like, no, I mean, what do you, he could have made the horse 9-5 or could have made the horse even money and opens up at, and he goes off at 1-5 and you look like a bad morning line. So I think he had some major balls to make that morning line, and not surprised that he's bet down.
Yeah, absolutely. All well said on every point. And if you didn't know what a morning line, if you learned something, that's great. We're here to help you learn. I love John Doe in the chat, but yeah, the GOAT had the balls to do this. Put some respect on his name.
So I tell people, John White has forgotten more about horse racing than any of us will ever know. Like, this dude is a brilliant mind in racing. We've learned so much from him. Thankful to call him a friend. And, I hit him up all the time with questions and just, wanting his opinion. And I respect the hell out of him. So yeah, when he makes a horse like that, 1-5 on the morning line, that should tell you something. And I'm gonna be clear, like this guy, like he has interest in playing this horse, betting this horse, not much north of 1-5. That's how much he likes Flightline as well. So, you say you can't make money on 1-5s. Well, you might be able to make a little money if you bet enough.
Listen, you make 1,000 if you just bet 5. I will say, for John too, like we know him well enough to know how much work he puts into it behind the scenes. Like when it comes to the Breeders' Cup, when he sets the morning line for the Breeders' Cups when they're in California, and he spends so many hours researching overseas books in the markets over there, and he's reading Racing Post, which is like their DRF, and he's reading to try and figure out what do their experts overseas. Like he's trying to figure out as accurately as possible what the betting market fixed odds wise likes on horses, so that you can make an accurate one. The guy cares. That is really what we're trying to wrap things down to this. Jared, we got 27 minutes here. I thought one thing we could do is watch the San Diego replay, because this race is setting up. This is a local prep for the Pacific Classic we're about to watch. But Royal Ship beats Country Grammar, and Country Grammar is very clearly the second choice at 7-2. Nobody else is even under 18-1 here. So watching this race, Royal Ship's going to be the 9, Country Grammar is the 8. Why is Country Grammar who you're picking in second in this race?
Well, I mean, he's just, you want to draw up a horse that wants to go a mile and a quarter. This is it. I mean, he's not overly impressive early in races, or most of the races, really. He just kind of cruises, and then he just flat grinds. He's a grinder. He doesn't go away. That's, that last race, I thought, this race here that he lost, he grinded, and, going longer, he probably, he may have won the thing if, be a little fresher too. So he's a classic type horse. He's 3 for 2, or 2 for 3, I should say, at the distance. Obviously won the Dubai World Cup, and he doesn't overly impress you in any of his races. He just keeps coming. That's why if you're against Flightline here, or you're not quite sure on the distance, like Country Grammar, he'll be there. If Flightline falters, Country Grammar will be grinding his way trying to get to him. The question mark becomes, does Flightline separate enough early in this race to where Country Grammar, even if he does falter a little bit, he can't quite get to him?
Well, there was one thing I wanted to note too about this race that, sorry, it's dinner time for me, so occasionally I hide so you don't see me eating. But you see here, there is a pronounced bias on the outside of the dirt course all day long at Del Mar. Royal Ship's on the outside of Country Grammar, so he's got the jump on him there, but he was wide 4 wide both times and won this race. That's how much of an outside bias there was. There is a great point here from Truth Exposed. San Diego's a mile and 16th. We're going a mile and a quarter. Country Grammar was way too close to the mile and 16th to keep grinding with his running style that you were talking about. So, yeah. Royal Ship looks good, but Country Grammar's the better horse.
Yeah, I mean, and he hadn't been seen since March, so like with a lot of times we see horses that never even, quite come back the same. And look at the run out here as well. You see him not come back quite as good. And yeah, he wasn't quite as good, but he also needed that race, I think. He's going to have to prove it. If he can beat Flightline, especially beat a good Flightline today, which, to be clear, I don't think is possible. I don't think you beat Flightline if he runs his race. But if he does win here today, yeah, I mean, Country Grammar is a horse that you have to use and be firing off, you would think be firing his third race off the layoff in the Classic, which would make him very dangerous. And yes, Bob Baffert can run in the Breeders' Cup. So people always ask that question. Can he run? Yeah, he can. So as of now. So yeah, I mean, if you can get him in the race, and frankly, if he gets him in, it all would depend, right? But if he wins today, Country Grammar, that is he the favorite of the Classic? I mean, I guess Life is Good. It depends on Life is Good, but it would be close, I think, because it's Bob Baffert, and I don't know. It'd be interesting.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, the Baffert factor. It's always interesting. Baffert has never won a Breeders' Cup with a horse older than 3. He's never won the Breeders' Cup Classic with a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever. Taba's 3. Country Grammar's 5, I think, at this point. Yeah, so
Country Grammar's 5. Yeah. Bob Baffert, for whatever reason, he dominates the 3-year-olds in the Classic. And that's another angle of why I like Taba.
So this sounds amazing. It's dinner time, and Robert says DoorDash can get there right at post time. He's got a meatball parm. Oh, there is literally like a New York pizzeria around the corner that has such a great meatball parm. Now I'm hungry. Thanks.
I'm trying to decide how nice or mean I should be here. You just can't compare Game On Dude to Flightline. I'm sorry, but
Game On Dude also loved to lose this race.
He very much loved to lose big races, especially. Game On Dude couldn't hold Flightline's jockstrap. They say, I mean, it's like they're not even the same category. And I don't know if I call 21s and 22s a bad habit. I call that a very fast habit. I think that's what makes him what he is. My question to Truth Exposed and anybody that's against. What have you seen with Flightline that makes you think he can't get the distance? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, if you can play against him, I mean, everyone's got their opinion, right? But I don't understand what anybody's seen to say, oh, he can't go 1.25 miles. Well, it's certainly not the breeding. He's separating every single race that he's won, which has been all 4, by the way. What have you seen that makes you think, boy, he can't do it? There's a really,
I'm looking for it.
There's a really nice angle, especially at Del Mar, a speed horse stretching out for the first time. Like, that's a tough angle to play against, in my opinion. And, I take a lot of stock in what John Sadler has said about the horse. He's not a guy that ever really talks up a horse. And he acts like this horse is a once-in-a-lifetime horse. Literally said those words, like, you'll never, not just him, anybody get a horse this good. And he just looks like the part, superstars kind of have a look, and he looks like that kind of horse. And granted, it will be a test going 1.25 miles. You would like to have seen him go 1.1 miles, right? Or something like that to his next or between. I just think class will prevail here. And I think he's all class.
I've been distracted because they've just had him on the track feed at Del Mar. They're just following him around while he walks around in the paddock. I always compare it to, because it was the first time I ever had this feeling in person. The Enable, when we saw Enable in the Churchill Downs paddock before the Breeders' Cup Turf when she won. You remember? Like that feeling.
When she stretched Enable,
yeah.
Yeah.
We saw her. Yeah. Well, you saw Pharaoh, so you know this better. But for me, it was Enable. That first time it feels like royalty when you see that horse and just like how they carry themselves. And you're like, that's what people mean when they say the horse carries itself with class. You're like, I didn't know what that meant. And I saw Enable and I went, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. That's Flightline when he walks, man.
When you're in the presence of one of these horses, like Enable, which we were right there in the paddock that day, like you said, with Pharaoh, I was lucky enough to be, touch Pharaoh, and it's like, yeah, these horses know what they're doing. They just ooze out this stuff that these other guys don't have. And Flightline, his worst enemy is just staying put together. And obviously a horse that's 4 years old and only has 4 career starts, and they've acted like they want to get the horse as a 4-year-old, or as a 5-year-old, want to continue. We'll see. That seems unlikely, especially if you were to go classic win. But he just has the look, and we'll just find out. This is my favorite kind of style, is when you have a horse like this that likes to go and just says, you know what, come and get me. Let's pull up something here while you're looking at that.
You and I both love those speed horses, but I pulled up the Met Mile, his last race. This one to me, I think is as telling as anything, because watch him break from the rail, which he doesn't have to do here. bad. That's the first time he's ever broken poorly like that. And suddenly he does that to Speaker's corner. And Pratt, then he gets hit again right there. Remember? He came over and bumped him. That's Happy Saver 2 is outside there. And Pratt, just look how comfortable Pratt is with him. Lets him go up. I mean, the horse just does it so effortlessly. For him to do this against Speaker's corner and then what he does off the turn, it's just like breathtaking.
He ate Speaker's corner that day. Like, he literally ripped his heart. And Speaker's corner, by the way, has never been the same since. And you see that a lot with really, really good horses that face up against, horses like a Flightline, where he just takes all their willpower away, just completely demoralizes them. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right, Vicky. He was. Unfortunately, he's never been the same since. So, by the way, Pratt he's not moved on him.
I still keep staring at him on screen now. I mean, they brought him out to saddle him just to show him off. He's in the sun glistening.
He's a beautiful animal. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's basically got him in a gallop at this point of the race. So he could have won that thing by 20.
Here's I've been looking for things to play. Here's his latest work. I know we're not big workout people, but I just love to watch him move. Look at that. Let me look at his mane. Oh God, he's just so beautiful out there. By the way, not many barns have their main assistant trainer like Sadler, Breeders' Cup winning jockey in Juan Leyva. So Juan Leyva goes out and exercises all of the best Sadler horses. You got a Breeders' Cup winning jockey taking care of your best animals in the morning. That's pretty great. Oh man,
yeah, this workout is Sadler really had a lot of good things to say after this workout.
Marla's making my day. She's comparing Flightline to Epicenter over here a little bit. I was explaining about the walk that they have. She goes, "That's how Epicenter walks."
That's a very good compliment to Epicenter.
Vicky says Epicenter looked at me in the paddock at Saratoga and I almost bowed down. Yes, that was me with the navel, but there were too many people around. I couldn't do it. I'm 6'4". There wasn't enough space for me to bow down and back. Hey, Truth Exposed brings up a great point. Listen, the Truth Exposed whole thing is that going from all one-turn races, a mile max, now going a mile and a quarter at 1 to 5. Totally get it. There's reason to be concerned about that. And it says that I would have loved to see him run a mile and a 16th, mile and an 8th, and maybe a mile 3/16. Like Justify went into the Santa Anita Derby with that, or the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown with the mile and an 8th Santa Anita Derby under him. So he at least had that 2-turn test. But then you have Chris that says nothing gave me the impression you can't. There's nothing that says, show me that you can't do it. I also just want this horse to succeed because every time this horse runs, Jared, we're like, is that the last time we'll see him? I don't know. Set your clock for 3 months. Maybe he'll show up again. So when you get to see them run, we're first and foremost, everybody racing this team are fans of horse racing. We want to see the best horses run as often as possible. So, that's why we want to see Flightline.
And there's just such a good storyline there. If he can get home here and then you got the matchup building with Life is Good and Flightline and Epicenter and just such a huge story. I mean, yeah, Flightline going to the dirt mile or something it's like whatever, like the Classic is where you want to see him. So that's the thing. Like you just want him to run well and to get in the Classic because they're not going to, that's the thing we talked about on Blinkers Off this week too. It's like, it's win or not for Flightline in terms of the Classic. Like they're not going to mess with if he falters late, they're not going to still point to the Classic. That's why he's such a hit or miss horse. He's the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Future Wager, but if he loses here, you would sure hate to have that future pick, right? So that's a tough ticket to have. That's why I personally am waiting to see what happens here before I make any kind of future wager on the Classic.
Listen, I'm one reason, I'm not gonna lie, and this is no shade, Truth Exposed. You're one of our favorite commenters. We love having you. You're so great. I have been waiting for this for so long because Truth Exposed has been so, and she even admitted, I think before you came on, Jared, that she's been trying to troll the Flightline supporters, which we kind of noticed. But it was fun to watch. And I've just been waiting for this because one of us is going to be right. And we all are very sure our own side's going to be right. We also thought Warlike Goddess was going to win for fun. So,
True.
They got to run the race. So it's very exciting when we can find this out. And because we're all being, we're being nice to each other, which is nice. We're getting along. It's going to make it fun here. So, I did see this. I just saw this like 10 minutes ago. There's a rumor that they might run him again at 5.
With Flightline?
Why?
Sadler said he wants to. I don't know why. We'll see, I guess, obviously.
Well, money. Happens. Like, Sadler wants to keep the lights on as long as he's alive. That's why.
Like this. Flightline is 9-5. Epicenter's 2-1. Life is Good 12-1. Tave is 25-1. Those are the few I got on the future wager. So
Tave is getting ignored at 25-1.
Tave is 25-1. But think about that for a second. Flightline before the Pacific Classic is 9-5 to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, I like the horse. That's insane, though. Having said that, if he rolls here, you're probably getting value on 95. What was that?
Oh, I'm watching one of the Mandela horses. I think that's Extra Hope. He's trying to not flip out in the paddock.
Vicky's probably right. I wouldn't be surprised if he were, to go to the Pegasus, get that one big last paycheck, and then retire off into the sunset. But there would be no, especially for a horse that's got, injury issues,
soundness issues. Yeah,
exactly.
I think, and Victor Cornett says, "Why not? Watching John Henry win at 9 was an incredible thrill." Yeah, the difference is John Henry was durable as Detroit steel in the 50s, man. Like, you could put that thing through hellfire and back and it'd still come out shiny. Like, that's not Flightline. Flightline is wrapped in bubble wrap and Fabergé eggs, like, to protect himself. Like, that's very different. Like, we would love to see him keep running, but as few times as he runs and as valuable as his stud fee and his breeding prospects are, like, you got to remember that as much money as he makes on the track, it is pennies on the dollar compared to what he's going to potentially make them breeding wise. And he's owned by a couple of breeding people. So that's that. It would be great if it happens. I will be shocked if it happens. Win the Breeders' Cup Classic or win this race, and that'll probably be it.
Yeah, he's on. Unfortunately, he's kind of on borrowed time, it feels like. And already he's just kind of, and sadly, that sometimes is the case with these super horses we've had in the past. We don't see them for very long. Look at Justify. At least Farrell, we were able to see win a Triple Crown and continue racing, into the Haskell, the Travers, and the Breeders' Cup. But a lot of times you look at like a horse like Justify, who himself had soundness issues, and a lot of, I always kind of tell people this. It's like, when you think about these horses, the reason they have soundness issues a lot of times is because they're so fast and they're so powerful. They literally hurt themselves by running too fast, by being too strong. And Flightline is a perfect example of that. That's why, a lot of these horses that like to, just absolutely blaze, have a hard time staying out on the track and being successful out on the track for a long time.
Yeah. Chancelot was that way. I'm trying to think. There was another sprinter. Yopon was that way recently.
Life is Good, who got hurt as a 3-year-old, who he could have been who knows what in that 3-year-old, Triple Crown, but we didn't see until later. So you just never, those horses, just when they go so fast, it's hard to stay sound, unfortunately.
Did you know the Flightline has already won at Del Mar? Some people think that, Del Mar is a horse for course. You've got to like running there. Well, he does like running there. We got a replay right here of him winning his second career start. Oh my God, September 5th. This was almost exactly a year ago. Wow. I just realized the connection there on that one. I kind of want to know who's in this race with him now. That's interesting. Another great point here. Why John Henry kept winning at 9. He was at gelding. I forgot. but Cigar ended up sterile. Battle of Midway, rest in peace. He ended up pretty much sterile. So I mean, we don't want that to happen to him either, because then he's fragile and sterile. Then what good is he to most people in the industry, unfortunately.
All right, so yeah, I mean, obviously look at him. I mean, 22 and 44, of course, going sprinting here, but just fucking just annihilates this field. What numbers are you going to look for here today in terms of obviously I wouldn't say it's a definite, but I'd say it's very likely he's on the lead, but he has proven has shown that he doesn't need to. We saw that in the Met Mile, but what kind of fractions are you expecting to see in this, the first quarter, first half? Because that's what's going to win the race, in my opinion.
That's a good question. I'm looking at San Diego, and I think it might be close to that. They went 23.7, 47.44. They might go a little closer to 48 for that one, but maybe not. I mean, Flightline has not gone sub 45.01 from opening half. So shit, now that I think about it, he almost feels like a charlatan style where he's going to go so fast early. They're not catching him. Like nobody's going to keep up with him if he does those paces early. They're not going to catch him. There's nobody here good enough to really. No. I mean, he's going to have to hit the wall of walls for Country Grammar to hit him at that point.
Yep. I think you're dreaming if you think that's anything north of 47. I would even also say 46.
Yeah, I think we're high 46s now, buddy.
I think we're in trouble as Flightline backers. You're worried if you see a 47 go up because you're like, come on, you want to separate a little bit. What he needs to do is just and personally, I think it's more whether it be 45 or whether it be 47, just get in that cruising speed and where he's doing it easy on his own. And
yes.
Doesn't really matter. I don't really care of the numbers. Just if he's doing it within himself, like he's been doing, they are running for second. I'm sorry. But if it looks like he's having a hard time maintaining that and their horses are kind of up, getting closer to him, that's your concern. So just get in the cruising speed.
Mike's calling that 159 and change. Oh boy. If he does 159 and change, might bring a tear to my eye, man. Vicky says Flightline's on his toes. Just look at him. Win or lose, he's something special. That is very true. Win or lose. Hey, Warlike Goddess lost today. She's still something special. He just looks so good out there. So good.
Well, thank goodness Rosario's not riding Flightline, or I'd be worried.
At least, yeah, Pratt might not be his ceiling might not be as high as Rosario sometimes, but man, his floor is like 18 stories higher than Rosario's floor.
Yeah, at least he can at least level off a little bit. Rosario, you just never know what you're gonna get.
Hey, let us know in the chat. We got 5 minutes to post to the race. I almost said 25. I was looking at the wrong screen there. 5 minutes to post for the Pacific Classic here. Let us know who you think is going to win. And if you're picking Flightline, rule, you either have to say by how many lengths he wins, or you have to give us an exact. You can't just say Flightline wins and leave it at that. D-Sauce, you're forgiven because I made the rule after you said that. But that's good.
I like it.
Midnight Race says, hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, let us know down below. First live Breeders' Cup, Vicky saw Zenyatta lose to Blame. Crowd was silent. Jared, I've heard that you could hear a pin drop at Keeneland? Churchill. Down.
I was right there. I think it was the 8th pole, right on the rail, Vicky. It honestly felt like a flash. See her kind of fly by. She's just kicked out, going outside. And of course, it's hard to see watching the screens. And you at that moment, you think she's going to do it because there she's made her run and she's going to get there. And you're right. I've never in my life seen a crowd more. The only thing I can compare to on the flip side is when Farrell won the Triple Crown and the whole crowd was, happy. Whereas the whole crowd was sad. It was, I believe it was Gomez who was riding Blame. He almost looked. Yep. He was sorry that he won. Basically, is how he looked. Almost like I'm sorry that happened.
I think I heard or read that he apologized to Mike Smith on the gallop out or something like that, where he was like, "I'm sorry."
I have an amazing. You can't really see it, I don't think, but I have an amazing portrait and collage of Zenyatta all from that day. And of course, we had tickets. That was our first Breeders' Cup, and she really got us to the Breeders' Cup. All right, let's
She's
look
the
at
horse in the logo for the racing dudes. If you ever see Aaron and Jared's head, the horse for them is Zenyatta. For Mike and it's Justified.
You'll see the white. If you look closely, you'll see the white blaze. That's where it started there. All right, so we got a lot of flight lines.
2 links. That's it. Wow. A couple people thinking Country Grammar makes it close. Imagine a flight line is winning off the turn, but Country Grammar's coming at him. Like, that's gonna be. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's pull this down. Whew. All right, we'll keep going through here. 5-2-6 flightless. I think you mean Flightline. Flightless is funny. Flightline by 3. Mike says Flightline by 6. Wow, Rose has been all over Flightline, and now Rose says Flightline by a nose or neck. Didn't see that coming. Another Country Grammar one. How about this? Does anybody think that anybody other than Country Grammar gets the job done here in second place?
I mean,
here we go. 2 with the 4. That's is the 4 Royal? No, 4 is Express Train. Wow. Loves Del Mar.
I kind of like Express Train. If for whatever reason, I definitely like Express Train underneath, but that would be the horse that could pull off the upset of upsets if these two, Flightline doesn't, and for whatever reason, the 2 runs kind of similar to in the San Diego. Because I mean, Express Train is a horse that's won big races in the past, and sometimes usually does it when you don't really expect it. So likes to go this long, likes Del Mar. So
Chris says Royal Ship by a pull, and then he says, "Am I trolling, Chris? You told us earlier you're quite drunk. You've been overserved," is what your exact words. But that said, if Royal Ship does win by a pull, we're coming back to this, buddy. Don't worry. No, he's back on Royal Ship again.
All right, I'm officially nervous, boys and girls.
1 minute.
Yeah, this is.
How about this? Is Stiletto Boy a lock in third? I mean, he runs well in these spots. He never runs well enough to win a race like this, but
5, 2, 4 straight.
William Riley going 3-5-4, which is Royal Ship to upset Flightline with Express Train third. Hey, that's Papa Mandela and Mike Smith winning that one. And if they're going to win a race today, it's supposed to be the next one with Tis a Magician, not this one.
Truth is you're so brutal. Flightline gets up for fourth. I love the last bit.
I think you mean Flightline falls apart for fourth. If Flightline is getting up for fourth, it's because he tripped.
I say if you think he finishes fourth, he ain't getting up for fourth. He's crawling for fourth.
We cannot show the race, unfortunately. No, it is illegal for us. But
what is it, Magic? Over under?
Over.
Yeah,
because we're both expecting romps. Like if it's close. If it's close, let's just say I'm glad that we're live right now because this is if he loses this or gets caught at the wire, it's going to be Kentucky Derby-esque. So, all right, we're going into the gates. Final plays. Put them in the chat. Let us know what you think. We will let you know. We're not going to call it. We will let you know what's happening. We are not going to try and call it.
I mean, we're not Saratoga Slim over here trying to be the call, but we will let you know what's happening. Yes. And remember, guys, 1 to 5 makes it tough to bet. You don't have to bet money on this race. Watch it. Use it as education as we decide on how we're going to handle this Breeders' Cup Classic, which this race is a win you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. And Flightline right now is the favorite in everybody's mind. He's got to prove it here. I'm nervous. I got chills. I'm nervous.
Flightline hitting rough. Flightline was the last one in because he was getting a little funky behind the gate. They're sending Express Train, or at least trying to. I'm sorry, Extra Hope, not Express Train. Extra Hope on the rail, but
they're in no hurry to get Flightline to the lead.
Not at all.
Flightline, as they go past the finish line the first time, he's barely in front of Extra Hope.
He's also
making no interest in getting to the rail.
23-2, he's going to sit outside of Extra Hope into the first turn. Did not see this coming. Country Grammar, Velasquez got to be sitting there in third on the rail going, okay, I'm going to win this race.
Well, look at this. He's not even on the lead, Magic. He is in second, trailing the one here by about a half a length. They ran 46 flat. And he's cruising. There he goes. Now he's saying,
he just took the lead. That was the horse. That was the horse saying, fuck
this may be over right now if this is something that he can continue to go forward.
Look at the distance. So forget Extra Hope because he's not a factor anymore. Look at the distance to Express Train already under a drive in third.
Yeah, there's
got
6
Stiletto Boy
ahead
advancing.
About 110 flat. This thing. Here we go. Okay, one's out of it. Flightline is now extended to 10 links almost in front. Look at this. Look at this, boys and girls. Come on. Look at this. Look at this. They're not even on the screen.
I'm just going to wait here. I'm going to wait at hole 18 with my hand outstretched to meet you here.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Holy shit. 20 links. They're cruising. Oh. Where? I'm just gonna leave the chat open for Truth Exposed for a little while. You have the line. Oh my! I mean, I think the over under 3. I think we hit it, Magic.
I heard 20 links as well from Trevor.
Good. Gosh, this was, guys. If you were listening to us and you weren't watching, he annihilated this field. It was never close. This horse is light years the best horse running right now. The 9-5 looks like a. Oh.
I'm speechless. I'm just going to keep putting up stuff from the chat. Y'all speak for me.
Guys. Wow. Country Grammar did get second. I didn't know who got second, but.
Here we go. Yeah, this is me. Wow. No, Stiletto got 5th. Stiletto broke his stiletto off at the quarter pole. Thank you, Hannah.
That might be the best performance I've ever seen in a race.
What was the final? 159.20. No, you were not supposed to be able to do that. No. $159.01 for a mile and a quarter under a jog. Rodney, great point. With that performance, life is good. Epicenter, Olympiad, no thanks.
No, you watched that race earlier today. Olympiad's behind Country Grammar in that race. Oh.
Chris Miles says the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile is about to be oversubscribed. Everybody's getting out of the Classic. Nope, we don't want that.
That had Secretariat feels, by the way, in the Belmont. I'm not comparing him to Secretariat, but the feel of the race just kept extending and extending and extending, and that I have chills. I mean, by the way, that might be our ultimate best reaction video of all time, because that was when you have a performance like that.
Truth Exposed says, I hate the horse. I just think you can pull it off. It's true. Listen, it happens. I thought Epicenter was going to walk home in the Preakness, and I'm still waiting for that. Listen, D-Sauce reiterates what Jared said earlier. Too chalky. Fun as hell to watch.
You don't have to make money to enjoy a horse race. It's a
nice bonus, but
it's a nice bonus, of course. I love making money, but what I just saw there, I would compare to making money. That was just, when you see an effort like that, it truly is incredible, and it's why we do what we do. It's what got us into the game, horses like this. It's a special. I mean, yeah, this is. I don't. That might be the only horse. The up until now, the greatest performance I ever saw by a horse was Arrogant in Dubai, and that may have been better. It's right. It's going to take a second to think about that, but yeah.
I mean, I just thought of this. Like,
yeah, life is good. Is now.
Is Fletcher just going? No. Okay, here's a fun game to guess. What the hell is his buyer going to be? Like, there was it. So I don't know if you saw this. We didn't make fun of it for a good reason, because somebody in Horse Racing Nation, a columnist, made the case for him getting a 130 buyer for winning this. And people were destroying them. Like, you're such a fanboy. 130 is a stretch. 120. I mean, his high is 114. That was his best performance ever.
Oh, he went past 120, I think. Dude, the time was insane.
I'm sorry, 118 was his best. But yeah, you don't do 159 and 1 on even a lightning track at Keeneland for Nick's going the Breeders' Cup Classic. You don't run that fast and not get like a 120 something for your buyer.
I mean, the answer is okay. Well, Mary, the answer, I think we saw the answer today.
Hold on 1 second. He's point. You heard that too.
0.17 off the track record, and he was eased.
He would have. Somebody said it. He could have done 156 and change if pressed. He probably could have. And Pratt is all smiles. My God. Vicky said it earlier. We're going to watch this 50 more times today. So Jason brings up a great point. I wanted to bring this up. Horse got bored in second and decided to crush them all. That's 1,000%. He's also used to running one turn. They probably went that whole length down the Del Mar stretch, through the turn, and off of it, he thought he was probably supposed to run and explode and go, and that's why he kind of took off like that. But,
dude,
Mary says what happens between him and Life is Good is they hook up. You just saw it.
That's what I was saying. Like, we literally just saw it. You use case in point. Use what we saw today. He wasn't in the lead through the first half of the race. He was not in the lead, and then he said, "Okay, I'm ready to go now." Now, Life is Good is going to be faster than that, setting the pace. But we've seen it now 2 races in a row. A very fast horse allowing another horse to go out in front of him. That's not, you can't teach that. That's a horse that's just unbelievably talented, that knows what the hell he's doing. Pharaoh could do that. He just knew where, he knew how to win races.
I'm mad that they took down the video of Flightline parading around to show the prices. Like, I don't care. The prices are all shit. Show the horse again. That's what we care about.
What's funny is I remember when when he won the Malibu, I remember texting Halterman. I was like, that was one of the better performances I think I've ever seen from when he won the Malibu. And now here he is again, making maybe the best performance I've ever seen. Like, I don't know what you're doing if your other contenders going towards a classic. You're fucked. I mean, you got to hope he doesn't make it. I don't know.
They're putting the replay up now. They just started it. I just got chills when they broke. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Remember when you were nervous when they were going into the gate? Like, I don't know. I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm not making fun of you. You want to see nervous? Wait 18 minutes and watch me with Tiz Magician about to race.
I don't want to we're still 2 months out, but there is 0 chance. And let me say this one more time so everyone hears it. There is 0 chance he gets beat in the Breeders' Cup Classic if he's healthy. No horse can contend with this. This is a different level than Life is Good even. This is a different level than Epicenter. This is a different level than Olympiad. This is a whole other league that he's in right now. If he can stay where he's at into the Classic, it's a lock. it's over.
He's doing the thing where he's accelerating into the turn. It's snuff. Oh God, I'm serious. This is starting to return to my. This is incredible. Oh, by the way, Denise, you've been such a sweetheart the entire time. Many kisses. Thank you. We can't show races. We tried saying that so many times. That's not the by the way, not the first time Denise has said that in the chat. I know most people are watching on YouTube. They don't get to see Denise's lovely comments over. Sorry, what did you put up there?
I just love this one. I know more than you about racing. Who needs you? Go fuck yourselves. Okay. It's always good to hear from the fans after a big performance. You know, like that's why we do it. Yeah, well, if you got 9 to 5 on Flightline, you got value. And like I was talking about earlier, Taba now needs to be 50 to 1 to win the Classic, and I'm not betting that because it's wasted money. He ain't touching that horse. I love Taba. He ain't touching that horse. So, wow. We're still, hey guys, we still have a race up next. We have a grade 1 race up next, another Breeders' Cup when you're in. So we're here. We're staying tuned. So just stay with us. It's not over yet, but it's going to be hard to get past what we just saw. So if we're going to be, if you hear us being quiet and just not like, that's because we're in awe of what we just saw as well. I'm trying to kind of comprehend. I got people blowing up my phone, trying to text me and what we just saw. I'm trying to tweet out like, wow.
Darren says those other horses are going to need Dr. Baffert's super special skin cream to keep up in the next race. That's absolutely.
Hey, Greg, we have a hell of a race coming up here next. Could maybe tough to bet Flightline at 1 to 5. Well, we've got a value race here, to bet here in this next one. By the way, what did he 1 to 5? John White nailed it. He went off at 1 to 5. So.
Hey, let's go find that guy and ask him if he still hates that morning line.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I muted him a long time ago. So, how about this? John White had a nice little. He probably doesn't want me to tell what the number was, but a large win bet on Flightline there, and easiest money he's ever made. He said so. That's how you make money on a 1 to 5. You pound the shit out of it because you have an opinion. Yeah, we should we should show the race in Spanish. That should help.
Well, I'm trying to actually figure out what channel you're even talking about, because if it's someone who's authorized to do that, then yeah, they can do that. People are allowed to put it out there.
It's not rocket science, Denise. Okay, can you? What happens if you air the Super Bowl on your live stream? Guess what? You get shut down. We can't just take other people's videos and just show them and say, hey, watch mine it doesn't work that way. There's things called lawsuits. There's big boy, big girl type real world situations that happen. We can't just show whatever we want and say, hey, that's ours. Come on. I mean, go find another channel.
Well, especially please do that after the several curse words you threw at us, and then apologize for.
This is the kid. We do it for the kids, Denise, and we don't need that language on here. Okay.
We actually do have kids.
Yeah, we all have kids. Well, not all of us. 3 of us have kids, and Halterman's like a kid. Yeah. And if it makes you feel better, Denise, you could wait I don't know. I don't want to give Magic on a time crunch here, but you can wait X amount of time, and the video will be up. And Magic is incredible. He beats most of the tracks at getting the feeds up. There'll be a replay reaction on our YouTube page with our reaction, with the video, with the replay. So if you can just maybe, go take a walk, smoke a cig, do something, come back, and the video will probably be there. That's all. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate the kind words. I would have said more, but my son's having another tantrum in the background.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, my kids aren't here right now, or else it'd be the same way. If anybody tuned in to Blinkers Off this week, you saw what it's like when the kids are here. Let's see. How many minutes are we till 14?
We only got 14 because we spent all this time gushing about Flightline.
Yeah. Honestly, And by the way, thank you, Midnight Rider, for tuning in and watching. And you're not the only one. We've seen a ton of comments directed to us saying I live overseas. I live in England or wherever, in Ireland, and I'm staying up to watch this race, and that's awesome. Like, that's what it should be about, right? Like, you literally stayed up to watch. That's how we were, like when Winks was running overseas, or when some of these super horses overseas. You stay up to watch the great ones, and that's why we do what we do. It's amazing. It's cool, so cool that you did that, and that I know that thousands of people overseas did the same thing. So,
I got to jump in here. I really apologize to you and everybody watching. I do have a disaster emergency. I have to a cleanup emergency I need to go help with. So I might not make it back in time. Tis Magician runs in 13 minutes. Good luck, buddy. I will try to, but I'm letting you know that I might have to back out of this one. But I'm going to go ahead and throw up something so that you at least have something on the screen at all times to choose from if you'd like.
Well, I know what you're going through. What kind of is it? Which number is it?
What's the one that comes out the mouth?
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If I don't make it back, love all of you. Mike and I will be back on probably Wednesday next week to recap everything. Enjoy the show with Jared.
All right, you get me now. I've been there with the kid stuff. That's his is younger than mine, so been through it. I think any of us with kids understands. That's no one. It's like they say on The Office, like, that's no vacation. That's tough. All right, let's go. I'm trying to go through some of these comments here. Everyone's trying to kind of just figure out what the hell we just saw, how to process that. Yeah, everyone, obviously Magic's the man. Look at here you go. I mean, American Pharaoh comes to mind. Like, yeah, you see great, these people overseas, like we all, and that's what's so amazing. Every time we go to the Breeders' Cup, we meet people that are from overseas. That's what makes the race so cool, that are watching all these horses, and they know everything about their horses, and they're coming over to run against our horses. I sat and talked at the airport one day with a guy when we were on our way to the Breeders' Cup, and we talked forever about Euro horses and the American horses, and what horses I liked and what horses he liked. It just makes the game so much fun when you kind of that world perspective into it. So, all right, who are we going to hammer here? Well, 9-5 on Masterpiece. That is my top pick. It's tough to take 9-5 on a horse that was 16-1 last time out, which is what he was. He probably deserves to be, though. I personally also like the 2 Gold Phoenix at 5-1. This horse was coming off of this horse is kind of making that first big start here. A horse that's been knocking on the door on some allowance races in the last couple. Gets Pratt aboard, who, by the way, just rode Flightline. If you want to call it a ride, he just hung on, basically. But jumps on this horse for Diamato. It seems like a horse that could definitely take a step up, especially going a little bit longer. So I like the 2 at some value. But really, this is a kind of race that you can take. By the way, I have to say this: Tis Magician at 9-2 is rough. I don't know how you can take 9-2 on a horse. I get, like, he's a classic horse, but making the turf debut, I guess he's been on the turf once, didn't go well, but yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Going through some of the comments. Notre Dame is beating Ohio State. How about that? I think Somich took Ohio State minus like 16.5, so that's not great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can give yourself any credit you think, whatever makes you sleep at night. But I'm interested to know, Truth Exposed. Are you now team Flightline? Like, you have to be, right? Like, did he win you over with that performance? I sure as hell hope so. How do you? I guess that's not to keep talking about that race, but how the hell do you have to make up a reason to get him beat next time in the Classic? You just have to. You can't come up. There's not a valid reason that he'll lose. in the Classic. You're basically just banking on the fact that he can't do it again, or maybe he's not sound enough or whatever. But there's no valid reason after you saw that performance. I'm very anxious to see what that buyer came back as. Any hope for the 3 here? Yeah, I don't hate this horse. Horse that has won last out, another Diamante horse with Rispoli aboard. Faced Hong Kong Harry 2-back, which Hong Kong Harry looked awesome earlier today. He faced him 2-back, finished 8th, but it was a tough trip, only beaten 4.5. He's the amount of quarter race. He ran 4th, beaten 3, got beat by a few in here, including Gold Phoenix. So 14-1 is probably fair on him. But off that 5-1 morning line, you don't like to see that too much, not taking any money whatsoever. I just think with some of the speed in here, with the 5 and the 6, obviously are going to set a pretty moderate fraction, or very fast fraction, I should say. 9 Masterpiece, and I get why you wouldn't want to play him at 8-5, but that race last time out, he looks like he's kind of figured it out. So I think you got to use him, but if you want to try to get creative with some exactas, box, I would probably box or use him with, try to play straight 9/2 or something like that. Might make sense here, but trying to beat him is dicey. Although I will say it's possible that it could get done and you could get paid for it. It's definitely that kind of race, right? That you'll get rewarded for your opinion if you're right, even if you have the 8-5 horse. Let's look at some of these probables here. The 9 over the 2 is $19. So, that's not bad. If you want to do the 2 over the 9, it's $24. So you could box those up and pay, average about 20-1 on that. That's not bad, right? For if you're trying to figure out how to make money on an 8-5, that's one of my favorite angles. Play like a $20 straight, or if you want to box them, play $10 box or something, and you're getting 20-1, let's call it, on an 8-5, and and if you don't like the 2, whatever horse it is, that's a way you can make money in races like this. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how he was 16-1 last time. You got rewarded for that, definitely. I guess, the fact that he beat, and I get Hong Kong Harry had a brutal trip that day. The fact that Hong Kong Harry came back and looked so damn good today, like he looked really good, should only aid in the fact that the 9 Masterpiece here should be awfully tough to beat. So that only kind of secures my thoughts. And again, it's a horse, was with Chad Brown when he came from overseas. Now he's with McCarthy. It's taken a little bit to kind of get into a rhythm here. Ran at Golden Gate to kick off his year in May, and then came to Del Mar and really flashed. So that's probably why, finished 4th at Golden Gate coming into that race. Might be why he's 16-1, but it was definitely a value there. Let's see. Just trying to go through all any of the good comments here. What odds would you make Flightline in the Breeders' Cup Classic, currently at 5-2 in the UK? And if he runs, he will be the shortest price ever, surely. Yeah, that's a great question. It's a great question I could ask my good friend John. I'll text him right now and see what his odds he thinks are. 19 3/4 links is what the official number was. Let me ask John what his odds are. Oh. Yeah, he's certainly going to be one of the shorter prices of all time. Off the top of my head, I can't, I think Pharaoh may have been, I don't know, was he 3-5 maybe? I think we talked about it on Blinkers Off. Some of our loyal listeners that listened, maybe they know. Seems like he was pretty short, but he might be shorter than that. Yeah, the 9 is fickle. I get it. And that's tough. 8-5 is tough. That's why maybe playing not playing him on top or either boxing that or something might help you a little bit there. Yeah, that's the horse that ran into Harry. Congratulations to Flightline, his connections. Yes. Flightline lost 0 ratings as bad as seen, and we should talk. What? I don't know what that means. So I'm sorry I put that up there. Let's see. Hey, Jared, I kind of like Red King too. Thoughts on Red King? I don't hate Red King. I'm sitting there at 14-1. Another Diamato horse. I think he's definitely a horse that likes going this long. He's an English Channel. Has ran well at this distance, ran a lot at this distance, and likes Del Mar as well. My concern with him is, can he win? I think he's a solid play to use underneath. Maybe key him in second and third to win. Would be a little bit of a shock. He hasn't won a race since November of last year in an allowance race. So he's obviously up against it here, but he's also showed up to a lot of these races, especially going long. So maybe using in the second and third spots, keying him there might make more sense, but not to win, me personally. Let's see here. 2 minutes to post. Got 3-2 on the 9. The favorite there, Gold Phoenix, is 5-1. The 6, Tis a Magician, is 5-1. The 10, Master of Foxhound. We haven't talked about Master. Anybody like Master of Foxhounds? I kind of like Master of Foxhounds here. I almost picked him to win just because he's a horse that seems like this distance is a little bit more suited for him. He didn't run great last time in the Eddie Reed against Masterpiece, but he was off a little bit of a layoff. Surely he can be a little bit better here. I kind of wonder about his talent level is my only concern. Is he good enough to win a race like this? But, he should be in the race kind of early, maybe not on the pace, but should be close enough to where he's got to say, in the horse, like I say, I think can get the distance. What's everybody's guesses on, what do you think the buyer does come back on Flightline? Is it does it reach 130? I don't know. Yeah, we should know pretty soon here what his odds are. Or, what his buyer is. I'm still trying to get John, give me a number here of what he would put him at. 1-2, right? I hate buyers personally, but I like to look at them, but they don't use a lot. So whatever it is, it's like if it's a 120, it's like a 120 plus, as John White likes to say. Because shit, he cruised, right? This horse has still not been tested yet. So what any of those buyers are, you have to take with some fluid, because it's like it's a 120 and he was under wraps. So, but the time itself, the way you won it was incredible. Doesn't look like we're gonna get magic for this race, so you're stuck with me. Yeah, I have a lot of dude shirts, Brett. So yeah, how about this? Brett, I will give you a free shirt if you can give me the exacta of this race. How about that? You gotta get it straight though. I'm not taking boxes. But I'll send you a shirt, Brett, if you hit the exacta in this race. But you gotta give it to me before they run. They're loading right now. They're loading for the Del Mar handicap, which again is a Breeders' Cup, another Breeders' Cup Challenge race for the Longines Turf. So you got a turf action going here. Everybody off. It's a long race, so just, Brett, I'll give it to you. You barely got it in. 9-11. Okay, and there's your exacta. It's like the 6 is going to get the lead. No surprise there. And the 10, like I said, Master Foxhound is going to be forwardly placed here. So you got 6, 10. Looks like the 7 Order in Law, all there, 25 and 3/4. I mean, they're crawling, which is what you want to see for Tiz Magician here. Just they're all completely bunched up, the whole field, as they go across the wire the first time here. Tiz Magician on the lead, doing it pretty easy. I mean, this is how he runs on the dirt, right? So if he can run well on the turf, he might be able to get a piece of this thing. Your favorite is kind of mid pack there, right in the middle. The 2 is the Gold Phoenix horse, is kind of on the rail towards the back of the pack there. The trailer is Tessero. Let's see. Yeah, 50 flat. I mean, they're absolutely crawling. If you like the 6 here, this is what you want. He's 113, almost 114 flat. They're barely moving. Looks like the 9 Masterpiece is now sitting there right behind the leaders here. The 5 Tango is now vying for the lead here. Looks like he's going to fall. Tiz Magician might falter a little bit. Where's this 2? 2's making a move here, making a real nice move. This 2. The 9 is going to be sitting the trip. He's going to veer out here. Can he get this distance? Oh, I don't know. He's kind of, Tango. Oh, look at this 2. He's flying. This 2 is flying. Look at this 2. Oh, can he get 9-2, 9-2, 9-2, 2-9? Hey, I told you. Boom. 2-9 exacta. Boom. That was good. Oh, woo. Look at that. 2-9 exacta. I told you to play a 2-9 exacta or a 9-2 exacta or a box 'em. That 2 ran huge. That 2 ran really well. The 9 ran well too. The 1 there, I thought might make a move there, but flattened out a little bit. But look at that. Yes, Jason, we hit it. There you go. 2. Greg got the 2. There we go. Hopefully we help cash some tickets there. Gold Phoenix, yeah. Gold Phoenix won. I think got just barely edged out the 9. That 2 is nice. Is a nice horse, because that horse was even further back than the 9 and really kind of picked them all off as he was coming home. 9 had it. No, he lost it. Hold all tickets, right? 2's got it. Oh, boy. Now 2 got it. 2 got it. Yeah, good day. Good day for Pratt is right. That's $2,911 box, Brett. There you go. You didn't win a shirt, but hopefully I helped you make some money. I might give you a shirt anyways, Steve Melanie. Hey, yeah, Vicky, how about that? Got 3-1 on that horse. It's been a good day. 16-ish bucks for the exacted there. So there you go. That's how and it's a great example of what I talked about, where it's like, yeah, Masterpiece, I really think he might win, but he's 9-5. At the time, he was like 8-5 or lower. Do I trust that? I don't know. Maybe put him in second, or box him with the 2, or what horse you like. I like the 2, and play both of those horses in box in case he doesn't win. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how you're sitting there looking at a 9-5 horse, how you get 16-1, right? Or whatever that exact ends up paying. That's how you get that on a short price situation. So great job, Jason, on that. We made some money there. Yeah. Jared, you're a little late, dude. Well timed. We're about to wrap up here. There you go. You got that pick 5 home. Boom. And I'll talk a little bit about this before I hop off here. Let's wait for this. Someone, if you see the payout come out, let me know. I'm trying to do 10 things at once here. Yeah, hopefully you guys cashed. But Jared, you kind of texted me earlier today. You wanted to talk a little bit about that future wager, and obviously we saw what happened. If you haven't seen it, FYI, Flightline won by 20, literally. So yeah, the future wager is to me, it's, unless you were lucky enough, the thing closes on Monday. This current future wager for the classic closes on Monday. So by then, I mean, this horse is going to be, absolutely pounded. He's 9-5 currently, but you're not going to get that. If you got him at 9-5, and maybe overseas, or if you could lucky, and if you can find overseas market where you can get them, that might be the only way, because there's no way you're going to get that. I don't see a reason to bet anyone. I mean, because it makes it tough to bet Flightline at 6-5 or whatever he's going to end up closing in the pool, because a horse that's got concerns with soundness, and you hate to make a horse. I would much rather take a horse at 2-5 or 3-5 in the classic the day of, and give away some of that, and making sure I know that he's in the race, versus taking 6-5 or something 2 months before. That just seems insane to me. So I'd much rather know that he's there and sound and good and everything like that. So past that, I don't know how you watch that race today and have a good reason to bet another horse. I don't know. I don't see how it happens. So that I wondered what would happen off JL about the off, because I figured they would be, if you caught a book that wasn't smart, maybe you could get lucky and get it right after the race, but smarter than to pull it, because that's by the way, I wanted to touch on one thing. John said he had him at 6-5. If he was making the morning line for the classic, he had 6-5 before today's race, is what, if what he put him at. So he'd probably make him at 4-5. He said at this point, kind of guessing a 4-5 morning line for the Breeders' Cup Classic. But who knows, right? But 4-5 on a morning line is insane. But shit, he deserved it, right? What did that? No, it closes Monday. I think it closed on Monday because it was the holiday. What are the? Anybody know that? Did anybody see the exact payouts on that? $16.60 for $1. There you go. So hopefully, some of you guys, it's 8:30 local Central Time. So if you've made some money, go out and spend it nicely, right? Good job, Robert, on hitting that pick 6 and pick 4. The only reason I would have played, and I'm not a big future guy, but the only reason I was considering playing the future was on Taba, just because if Flightline faltered, because like I alluded to earlier, it's like, okay, so say he wins the Pennsylvania Derby, you're not going to see him at 25-1 in the you might see him at that now because of Flightline, right? All bets are off because Flightline's in the race. It's going to make it interesting, right? How you make money on that day with a horse like that's going to be in the race. Maybe trying to play like a Flightline Happy Saver or something like that. Exacta might be the answer. Trying to get a horse that's not, Life is Good, that's not Epicenter, that's not, some of these horses. Try to get that horse up for second might be the way to do that. Jared, I'm interested to know, like, you would still be interested in Life is Good at 12-1 after that. I get there's value there because Life is Good at 12-1 seems insane, but even after what you saw today, with assuming you've seen it, you would still take 12-1. It seems like I'll give you give me your money. How about that? It'd be easier. Don't I shouldn't even talk about Rich Strike. Come on. Boy, everyone is everyone is currently rerouting, right? Everyone's rerouting to their, it's like all the dirt miles seems very likely now for a bunch of horses. Because what seems more likely? I certainly not winning the classic, and the big money in the in the dirt mile still, and to win that thing. So maybe you just try to hold out and maybe go win the Classic next year if you're like Cyberknife or one of those horses that maybe can't quite get it done in the Classic. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, seems like he can run on anything right now. I think he might win on glass at this point. Seems like it doesn't really matter what he does. So yeah, second is still worth a lot too in the race. So if you want to try to run, I mean that might be an interesting way to look at it as we get closer. How's the race riding in the race? Like, do you have the jockeys, trainers and whatnot? Like, don't mess around with that horse. Just run your race. Hopefully you can get up there for second and leave it at that. Because yeah, I mean, you don't want to ruin your chance by trying to run or trying to press the 5 like we saw today. It does not work. Does not work well. Yeah, he'll fly over it. So it's exactly truth exposed. The real good ones can run across the Walmart parking lot and still win. Pharaoh that day in the Rebel, just sloppy as hell. Just he won by a mile, and then the Preakness he did it again. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I love Happy Saver in second. I made a lot of money off Flightline Happy Saver Exacta in the Met Mile, right? So yeah, that's ways you can make money by getting some of those good ones out. So yeah, I don't know if it's very interesting now. This is it's what we wanted to see. Maybe we saw a little too much because now people might be backing out of the Classic, but you kind of hope that you'd have that performance and then you could have that build up towards the Classic and with Life is Good and like there's just there's no way that you can make a case for him getting beat other than just something happening. But he even proved some of us wrong today a little bit as well. Like he showed that he's even more versatile than we thought he was. They didn't go super fast early. They did a little bit in the second half or second quarter, but not extreme. Then he sped it up. The race kept going. He kept going faster. I'd like to see those fractions closer after I get off here. But yeah, I mean, he showed that he doesn't need the lead early on. Pratt was extremely patient out of the gate. I mean, he just kind of cruised up there. He didn't do anything, fast. Just shows how versatile of a horse he is. So, and to that point, good horses make good trips. They make their own trips. They don't. It's rare that you see a really good horse get and the only thing you could come up with there is if he completely missed, fell over in the gate. I think back to Liam's Map in the dirt mile when he was a horse that, went gate to wire usually and fell out of the gate and was, way out of it and still won. It was it was an unbelievable performance, but you definitely had some heart-stopping moments during that race because it was out of his element. I still think Flightline would win the damn thing. He might be able to have a gate behind the starting gate and start from that one and still beat the Classic field. So yeah, they need to bubble wrap him, Brett. I agree. Bubble wrap him, keep him happy. Hopefully get him to the Breeders' Cup in one piece. So it's exciting. It's been a hell of a day, guys. Hopefully we helped make you some money. Hopefully Magic is doing okay. Let's see here. For fun, before we get off here, we can, I'm in charge. Magic's not here, right? Let's see if we have a replay up yet. I won't put ours up just because, people probably don't want to see me again. But yeah, let's pull up the. So we'll watch this real quick and then we'll call it a night. How about that? He never I mean, there's such a patient ride out of the gate where he has zero interest in getting to the lead yet. I mean, even at this point, you're thinking, okay, are you going to skirt clear? Are you going to get in front? And Pratt was very, very okay with just letting this thing kind of play out in front of him here. And right here, he's like, I'm bored. I can't go this slow any longer. I'm ready. And that's the thing with these good horses. Pratt didn't make that call. The horse just wanted to go faster. He let him go. He let him out a little bit. And you notice no one behind the one here, because obviously the one's cheap speed there. No one's making any move. There's zero doubt here. The race is over. At this point, it's just don't fall off if you're Flavor Pratt. Yeah, exactly, Greg. It felt like he's just like, well, whenever I'm ready to go, I'll win this thing. He crap. Unbelievable. We'll call tonight after that one. How about that? All right, guys. Unbelievable performance we saw today. Unbelievable performances we saw across the board. Hopefully, we helped make you some money. Well, look at that full screen. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We had a bunch of people tuning in, a bunch of questions coming in. Hopefully, we helped answer some of your questions, and obviously, we will have a ton to talk about this week as we kind of rehash this, kind of digest it, and of course, it's just getting. We have basically one more round of preps for some of these horses. We're 2 months out, so that leaves a gap for maybe one more prep for some of these. A lot of these horses we're not going to see again until the Classic. So really, the work is really getting started on the Breeders' Cup already. And just get ready, because it's not just the Classic division. All these divisions are going to be really, really fun to watch in the Breeders' Cup. So stay tuned. We have your coverage for everything you need Breeders' Cup related. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully Magic is survived, and maybe say a prayer for him, and hopefully he's doing all right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.